Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
We are live from the Duffy's in Plantation. We have Stanley Cup action coming up tonight on ESPN 106.3. Welcome on in, folks, to Russo and Rizzo on that radio dial, ESPN 106.3. Mike Rizzo, Theo Dorsey, and Christian Catt back at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. But as I already mentioned, we're in beautiful Plantation, Florida, at the beautiful Duffy's location. I've been stuffing my face with Tex-Mex egg rolls. Theo's eating the firecracker shrimp. What are you waiting for? Get on out here to the Duffy's in Plantation to support your Panthers coming up tonight as they are hopefully one step closer tonight in winning their second straight Stanley Cup. Got a lot of things to touch on today. The NBA Finals happened last night. The Pacers going up 2-1. Wasn't necessarily impressed with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, even though 9 of 20 from the field on the stat sheet looked pretty decent. But as I talked with Theo Dorsey earlier in the show, defensively, bit of a liability. You got Aaron Rodgers. I mean, what do we call that? Bonanza, the circus. The tent is up in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers. We'll touch on that. But where I wanted to start quickly today, I mean, it's the first time I'm going to a Stanley Cup final match coming up tonight. I just realized it is the first time I will be at a Stanley Cup game in the NHL, and I kind of want to know what to expect. So, folks, if you've been to a Stanley Cup game, hell, if you've been to a Panther playoff game, I'm even willing to hear that. 888-760-3776. What kind of atmosphere am I going to be walking into tonight? Now, I was a part of Theoretically Speaking earlier. We broke decimals.
Yeah.
We broke the decimal count.
Well, I wouldn't say we. You weren't there.
Hang on.
I was there.
How about this?
Yeah. We did, not you.
I say we because Christian and Theo were in the building. Okay. And Christian, how loud was it with 7:26 left to go in the second period?
It was actually only one decimal. It was 140 point something. It was 140 decibels. Yeah, we broke that record for sure.
Yes.
And I listen, I'm hoping to get a similar experience coming tonight. I do think tonight's game is going to be closer. I do think the match
It'll be crazy if it wasn't.
Yeah, right. I mean,
that'll be wild.
6-1. I don't think we're going to be seeing 6-1. Edmonton is a team that, if they lose this, they're down and out. Listen, folks, I understand hockey is different from other sports. Like three games to one. You go down that in the NBA, you're all but cooked. Yeah. Unless you have LeBron James on your team, you are all but cooked. So, if this gets down to 3-1, I have some serious questions if Edmonton is going to be able to crawl back into this series.
The one thing I will say is last year it was 3-0.
Right.
And then Edmonton won 3 straight. So they've won 3 straight with their backs against the wall. They've won 3 straight elimination games before. So I wouldn't say down and out all the way. But you have to feel very comfortable as a Panthers fan knowing you're going to Edmonton with a chance to seal the deal. All the pressure would be on them because then you're coming back to Sunrise for Game 6, even if you drop that one, and you're going to be heavily favored to close it there. So again, you know what I'm rooting for.
Of course.
I don't want to say it out loud again. But
yeah.
Cats and 6.
Yeah. Because Theo is rooting to get some. And listen, maybe as a radio station, we should be rooting for that. We get some great content.
More games.
Right?
Another home game.
We'd get some great content if we were there on the ice for Game 6 to be able to celebrate the victory. But I think Panther fans, listen, you have any opportunity to win any game, you want to take advantage of it. It doesn't matter if it's in your own backyard, in your home ice, or all the way up into Edmonton. By the way, you want to know what I realized the other day? I think I was doing this with Brian Rowitz, our content director and our boss. I'm like, where in the hell is Edmonton? You know Edmonton's like by Montana?
Yeah.
Why did I think it was like a spitting distance away from Toronto? When I think of Canada, I guess I just think of Toronto.
Right. I mean, that is the epicenter of Toronto. I mean, all of us had that same reaction when we first had to think about where the hell Edmonton is because they're only relevant when you tie them to the Oilers for people that live in South Florida. So before the series last year, C-Cat and I were doing a Panthers pregame show, and that's when we learned that it's not in Ontario. It's actually in Alberta, which is like the Pacific Northwest.
And I think they call it provinces.
Yeah.
Not states, they're
Yeah.
provinces. So
Who the hell they think they are?
they do a little things different up there in Canada. But regardless, I'm hoping the Panthers could close this as soon as possible, hopefully with a win tonight and then a win coming up in Edmonton. But 888-760-3776, you want to chime on in what kind of playoff environment I'm going to be walking into with the Florida Panthers. But let's keep that on the back burner for a second because, Theo, I wanted to touch a little bit on this Aaron Rodgers situation to start the show because I truly do think that a bit of Rodgers is on the line in Pittsburgh. What I mean by that, I think some of Rodgers' legacy is on the line here. We all know he's a multiple time MVP winning quarterback. We all know about the Super Bowl, which, by the way, he beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in back in 2010. But does Rodgers really want to be known for leaving Green Bay and then having all hell break loose? And according to the great Mike Tannenbaum, that's exactly what's going to happen. Mike Tannenbaum said Aaron Rodgers is going to be irrelevant.
Ooh,
Irrelevant.
I love that.
After, I believe, Christian, I'm shooting from the hip here, the week 5, week 6.
By Thanksgiving.
And I could. Okay, so I'm hashtag shooting from the hip. But by Thanksgiving, by Thanksgiving. So, Theo, when you're stuffing your face with turkey, like myself, and we're eating all Grandma's cooking, Aaron Rodgers is going to be irrelevant. I disagree with that. I think the Steelers are actually going to be a pretty good team next year, and I do think some of Rodgers' legacy is kind of on the line here because I don't think he wants to be known as failing in New York and then failing with a head coach, Hall of Fame head coach, in Mike Tomlin.
Aaron Rodgers has much more to lose this year with the Steelers than Mike Tomlin does, and it's because it will solidify that everywhere he's gone since 2021, the teams have performed better without him. Like the Steelers were a 10-win team last year that made the playoffs. That's a high bar for Rodgers. When you look on Hard Rock Bet, the win total right now is 8.5.
And you're hammering the under, huh?
I'm hammering the under. The expectation is that they will not make the playoffs. The Steelers were a playoff team without him last year. What happened when he leaves Green Bay, by the way? Because last year with the Packers, let's not forget, week 17, they had a chance to make the playoffs. All they had to do was beat the Lions. Rodgers came up short in that game, and it was a very the opposite of triumphant exit from Green Bay. Ever since he's left, playoff appearance and a win, and another playoff appearance from the Packers under a new quarterback. So they've been better without him. And then with the Jets, the funny thing is people like to kind of criticize the Jets as a whole as a franchise that is like a quarterback hell, but Zach Wilson had more success with the Jets than Aaron Rodgers did with the same roster. The Jets are likely going to have more success than 5 wins that they had last year with Rodgers than when he was in that uniform. It's going to look incredibly bad for Rodgers if he doesn't pull out a winning season or make the postseason with the Steelers.
I like what you said about the Packers because they decided to go the next route and the quote-unquote future with Jordan Love, and it has seemed to work out up to this point. Now, I also do think something you mentioned that I like as well. It was the changing of the guard in that division. When the Lions beat the Packers, obviously the Lions didn't go to the playoffs that year or anything, but the year after, they won the division, went to the NFC Championship game. And last year, they won the division, obviously lost to Jane Daniels, fair play to the young rookie.
Right.
But it was like a big changing of the guard that happened there in Green Bay. I understand that Jordan Love and the Packers have had success.
They've been better without Rodgers.
They have been, and they've been able to secure 10 wins and playoffs. But what I'm saying is, I like kind of how Rodgers leaves, changing of the guard for the Lions. Getting back on track though with what happened in New York, there's no question. Like it probably. If we're playing the game of the pie chart of whose fault it is, Rodgers is probably getting all of the blame in New York for everything going on. They brought in Allen Lazard. They brought in Devontae Adams. They did everything they possibly could.
Cobb.
Well,
Who's
God.
the play caller?
For Nathaniel Hackett. The Hack, as I call him.
Yikes.
Can I tell a quick Nathaniel Hackett story?
I'd love to hear one.
So I believe this was Theo, I was probably a year into doing sports radio for the first time ever by myself in Peoria. And I got the biggest kick out of Nathaniel Hackett lining up for a 60-yard field goal against the Seattle Seahawks. And this was, I believe, the Monday Night Football game right after Russell Wilson got traded. And they were in Seattle. And they lined up for like a 65-yard field goal. And after the game, Nathaniel Hackett, they go, "What were you thinking?" Lined up. And Hackett goes, we thought we had it. We thought he had it.
It's the best chance, he said.
That guy should be completely banned from calling plays in the NFL. And I think that, obviously, I don't think he's going to get a job anywhere else without Aaron Rodgers. And certainly Rodgers is calling the shots at Pittsburgh.
He better not be.
But the blame game certainly is on him. Theo, I think this is going to work. My long roundabout spiel here, it's going to work.
Why?
Because you have a Hall of Fame coach in Mike Tomlin. You have one of the best-run organizations in the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you have a veteran quarterback who's getting out of his way. He did not get out of his way. Would you agree with me he was in his own way in New York?
Rodgers?
And it was Rodgers'
He was
fest.
in everybody's way.
It was Rodgers' fest.
He was like, you know how sometimes you're walking down like a sidewalk, maybe like in a New York. This happened to me a lot actually in Florence, Italy, because their sidewalks are narrow. And there's like a group of 3 people walking, and instead of being courteous and like walking in one line, they kind of do this staggered walk where they're taking up the whole sidewalk, and they're casually walking. So now you're stuck behind them, and you got to hear their idiot conversation about what they had in a pizza parlor before they stepped outside. Like, Rodgers got in everybody's way, like the idiots that do sidewalk log jams.
Yep.
That was his whole thing. And what did the Jets have to show for it? 5 wins.
Yep, and and to Theo's point, a new head coach and a complete reset. You got Justin Fields at quarterback now, and I dare I say no hope in sight. Obviously, I think the Jets can reset.
They're better. They're probably better off this year than they were last year.
I mean, they know where they're.
There's hope.
Last year there was we're going to make the playoffs and compete for the division before the year. You know what I mean?
I know.
Because Rodgers went down with the Achilles.
You're falling for it again.
Everyone was drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm falling for it because the situations are better. You don't have Robert Saleh as the head coach. You have Mike Tomlin. The Jets, with all due respect to the Jets, and I promise I'm not piling on the Jets, they're a dumpster fire of an organization similar to the team that I root for. Okay. But that's not the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have DK Metcalf, a proven commodity. I personally think they should have hung on to Pickens.
Me too.
But is he an on-the-field nightmare? Sure. But at the same time, more talent, the better for a guy like Rodgers. They upgraded the offensive line. I think defensively, if they figure things out with Watt, we all saw the headline of Watt holding out a minicamp. If they figure out things with Watt and the defense is what it was last year, Theo, this is going to be a better team.
All right, I have a question.
This is comparatively going to be a better team than last year.
What are you actually predicting for the Steelers season? Because that
over 10 wins in playoffs.
Okay. 10
over
plus,
10 plus.
So
how about
okay,
that?
10 or more.
10 or more.
10 or more wins in the playoffs. So you're predicting either that last year was the floor. Right, they won 10 games. They made the playoffs. You're saying they're going to do that or more.
I think so because I think they upgraded the quarterback position. With all due respect to Russell Wilson, I'm sorry, no one will ever be able to convince me that Rodgers isn't an upgrade over Wilson at this point. And say what we want about Aaron too. He threw for 3,800 passing yards last year.
Yeah,
he did play well in garbage time. They were empty stats and empty calories.
Yeah, okay.
But he still looked the part.
He lost them a lot of games last year, so he threw that game away when they played the Vikings early in the year.
When games mattered, he threw them away.
He was terrible. So let's go back to Rodgers then. So you think he's an upgrade from Wilson. You think that they have a chance to do some damaging things in the AFC North this year. Here's my pushback. Which division is tougher, last year's AFC East or this year's AFC North?
It's definitely this year's AFC North.
Okay, all right.
But
so
the Browns are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. And then you have
the Patriots were that last year. They were actively trying to lose last year. That's why they fired their head coach, because he won a game they didn't want him to.
And then you have Cincinnati, who is the talk of the town for all the wrong reasons about not doing business well. Yep. And we'll get into that later on in the show. But it's just like, I think with Pittsburgh, and Tomlin's never had a losing season. I think there's something to that.
Okay.
Theo.
All right. So
how long has he been doing it? Guys never had a losing season. So you're going to tell me they're going to lose 5 games?
Well, Aaron Rodgers
win 5 games.
When's the last time Aaron Rodgers has had a winning season? Something's got to give. Something's got to give. And let's go back to this then. Which roster was more talented, last year's Jets roster or this year's Steelers roster?
I tend to lean Pitt. I never bought that thing in New York, by the way. I never bought that. I tend to go with Pittsburgh.
Where are they better at? I just don't know.
I think defensively. I think defensively they are.
Defensively, I don't know. That's tough to say.
Sauce Gardner's unreal.
Yeah.
The Williams kid on the defensive line is unreal. But comparatively as a unit,
Sherwood.
Sure. Comparatively as a unit, I think Pittsburgh. Okay. Folks, we'll continue to talk about this as we progress on the show. 888-760-3776, that number to call on in. I am going to my first Stanley Cup and playoff atmosphere tonight within the NHL. If you want to send me some pointers, what I should expect, you could give us a call. And then also, if you want to chime in on Rodgers, is Aaron Rodgers' legacy on the line?
Yes.
As we progress through the offseason, as we get closer to him playing his first game as a Pittsburgh Steeler. But coming up next, we got to welcome a special guest in. It is the Kaiser University AD, Chris Swager. We're going to be talking that new NIL deal that just dropped with Chris Swager. What does it exactly mean? We'll get you the details on that. And then later on, Evan Cohen stops in studio. So We'll be right back right here on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Big news, West Palm Beach. Greenway Kia is rolling out the red carpet for our grand reopening, and you're invited. Right now, drive home in a new 2024 Kia Telluride, luxury, performance, and value, starting at just $38,998. No tariffs, just huge savings. Get incentives up to $11,000 off MSRP on select new Kias. Got a trade-in? We need it. Any make, any model, any condition. We'll give you up to $6,000 over Kelly Blue Book value towards the purchase of any red tag Kia in stock. Worried about credit? Don't be. If you got a job bringing home $350 a week, we want to improve your credit today. So what are you waiting for? Come celebrate our grand reopening at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800 New Kias or visit GreenwayKiaWestPalmBeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
With approval through KFA, stock number SG005991, MSRP $45,235, plus tax tag and $9.99 admin fee. Negative equity refinance. Offers don't combine.
Mike Rizzo here with the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management Program. NIL has been a topic of conversation for a long time now in college sports. A settlement was finally made in the House versus the NCAA court case. The settlement is going to pay a whopping $2.8 billion back to athletes who lost name, image, and likeness from 2016 and on. So if you played in 2016 on, you could receive some of that $2.8 billion. And moving forward, each school can pay its athletes up to a certain limit. The annual cap is expected to start at roughly $20.5 million per school. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management Program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on the job placement for students and graduates. The FAU MBA in Sport Management Program.
Summer is heating up, and so are the St. Lucie Mets. Clover Park is the top summer destination for sports fans looking to get the most bang for their buck in June and July. Be there for all the excitement on the field and in the stands. June 19th through the 21st is Military Appreciation Weekend. The biggest and best fireworks show on the Treasure Coast is coming to Clover Park on Thursday, July 3rd. Tickets are on sale now at stluciemets.com. See you at the ballpark this summer.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Welcome on back, folks. Russo and Rizzo. We are live at the Duffy's in Plantation. Get on out and come see us. This is your spot for the Panther Watch Party coming up tonight. That is Duffy's in Plantation. We had some wonderful food earlier. Like I said, I love those Tex-Mex egg rolls. Theo had the firecracker shrimp. It is going down tonight for Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals at Duffy's in Plantation. 888-760-3776, that number to call on in. Is Aaron Rodgers' legacy on the line? And I'm going to my first Stanley Cup playoff atmosphere and obviously Stanley Cup final for me. If you got any tips for me, give us a call at 888-760-3776. But now it's time to welcome in a special guest, Chris Swager, the AD of Kaiser University. Let's welcome on in, Chris.
It's time to ask the AD. Kaiser University Athletic Director Chris Swager joins Russo and Rizzo to talk all things college sports, the latest on Kaiser athletics and more. Ask the AD is presented by Kaiser Seahawks Athletics. Learn more at kuseahawks.com.
So Ask the AD, where AD of Kaiser University, Chris Swager, comes on with us, talks everything and anything college sports. Man, Chris, do we have a lot to catch up on, and do I have a lot of questions for you as far as what this new NIL deal possibly means and what this new kind of college sport landscape is going to mean for a lot of these schools. But first off, Chris, do we have any new championships that I got to be aware of, and where is our count for the amount of championships we have over at beautiful Kaiser University in West Palm?
Still at 26, although Learfield standings just came out. And we finished second. Unfortunately, we're 60 points off of winning that. So second place in Learfield, but gearing up to try to kind of load up for the fall and hopefully get a couple more before the year ends.
Now, Chris, you mentioned the fall. Give us an update, kind of what we should be keeping an eye for as far as some Kaiser sports coming up. Obviously, the football team is one of the best in the country every single year competing for championships. But what are some other things we should be looking out when it comes to Kaiser athletics coming up?
Well, I'd say this weekend we've got our ESPN-sponsored 7-on-7 event here on campus. So Saturday we'll have that. Treasure Coast, Palm Beach County, a lot of great 7-on-7 teams. So if you're in the area, come out for that. A lot of those guys end up playing for us one day. So that's huge. Obviously, football. We got a new volleyball coach in. He came from Indiana Wesleyan. He was the assistant coach there. They're back-to-back national champs. So we brought him down here, try to get some of that magic going down in West Palm. Women's soccer, runner-up last year for the national championship, so they're going to be ready to fight for it. And then men's soccer won a couple years ago, and they're going to try to come back. So a lot of great teams and competitors, and just good college athletics.
Now, Chris, we are going to be live there, too. I'm happy you brought that up. 7-on-7, Christian Cat and I are going to be live doing some programming there, doing our shows leading up to all the games. Chris, listen, I'm going to put on my big announcer voice because I'm apparently going to be doing some PA work. So I hope that you have microphones, that are low enough. And usually I don't say that because I'm the loudest human being ever. I hope you guys have a couple of microphones that are low enough for me to be able to do my thing.
Pretty sure it's a bullhorn, 7-on-7, because you might be on the side field. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, even better. So you're going to have me
good.
on one of those, on what do we call one of those things that you talk into?
It's a bullhorn.
Is that a bullhorn?
He said bullhorn.
Listen,
bullhorn. Air horn.
Air horn.
Bullhorn.
I guess that's the first time I ever heard it be called.
Just the noisemaker. The bullhorn's what you talk through.
Got it. Well, regardless, going to be having a blast coming up at 7-on-7 on Saturday. All right, Chris, let's get into this deal that happened because the court case dropped and a decision was made by a judge on the West Coast. I mean, this happened, I believe, at like 7 o'clock Eastern time, 8 o'clock Eastern time, damn near, on the East Coast earlier this week. What was your initial reaction to the $2.8 billion that is going to be handed out to athletes that played from 2016 on to kind of get, their money, to get what they're deserved? And then now the cap, the 20.5 cap, where these programs are going to be allowed to distribute $20.5 million to their sports players and athletes from some of the TV deals they get and the money that they get from these sporting events. What's your initial reaction when you saw that come out?
I mean, it's about time something came out. I mean, I think the biggest thing for a lot of people is this thing keeps getting pushed back. And so while it doesn't necessarily directly affect us at the NAI level, it does trickle down, right? So you got kids trying to make decisions on where they're going to go. Roster caps for part of this. So a lot of people had already kind of anticipated happening and were putting stuff in motion, and then others were waiting. So, I mean, I think right now, now that everyone knows what they can do moving forward, then that we can operate at a higher level. So the NIL portion is interesting. There's a clearinghouse now that everyone has to submit their stuff through. So what's going to be interesting is the first time someone submits a deal through and he gets denied, I don't know what that's going to trigger as far as lawsuits go. So, I mean, all of this usually ends up back in the courtroom at some point in time, but at least there's some clarity for teams. So now at the end of the day, universities can decide, do we stay where we're at? Do we opt in? Do we opt out? I think there's going to be some movement as far as maybe not initially, but I think this is now schools can start to decide, are they at the right level? Are they joining other conferences? Are they switching around? I mean, I think stuff can start to level out at this point in time now that there's a decision made.
Chris Swager, Kaiser University Athletic Director, is our guest. Ask the AD, where we have Chris on to explain situations like this, because I am not in tune with the money side. But, Thee, go ahead, partner.
I'm curious on your behalf as an athletic director, Chris, you think about some of these Power 5 schools like the UNCs of the world who are now prioritizing both football and men's basketball, and both of them can be revenue makers. But at most campuses, football is the only revenue maker when it comes to who's actually making the dollars for the athletic programs. When they get this $20.5 million cap, how many ADs do you think around the country are going to be thinking, I need to split this up and support other sports that are ancillary to get some talent in there, to get some wins for those coaches? Or how many of them are thinking, oh, great, $20.5 million, knock, knock, football coach, let's make some things work?
Yeah, that's the big thing. Obviously, the other part of the loss, or what could be coming, is obviously Title IX consideration, how that money gets distributed, even on the back end, on the back payments. I think it was Texas. I've seen someone where they broke down how they were going to allocate it. And to your point, it was, like 40% football, 20, and then kind of spread out with some other sports, baseball, softball, stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, again, it's new. The biggest thing, like at NACA, was just revenue generation. I mean, now, every, 5-10 years, there's a new hot topic. Probably 10 years ago, it was how to generate revenue for facilities, how to build locker rooms, how to upgrade everything. Now it's all on getting enough people in your department, general managers, that kind of thing, to kind of sign contracts and allocate the money and kind of protect yourself. And more stuff will come with this. Now that I'm paying you, what's the trade-off? If I pay you and you don't produce, now what, right? I mean, there was a little bit of that before with scholarships, but now it's a little bit different because I'm paying you directly. It's not a collective paying you. I actually control the money. Whereas before, you did, but you didn't. So it'll get interesting. I mean, I definitely think I think it's going to create more separation. I mean, one of the sessions I was in was kind of interesting because someone had brought up the question. The NCAA has 3 divisions, Division 1, 2, and 3, and that's been the same model for, over 40 years. So is it time for people to start considering a 4th division or even a 5th division, right? So is it time to kind of create some separation there and kind of put people in the spots where they need to land? And then that's kind of where the NAI is. I mean, we're kind of a different division. We're more private schools, but there's some opportunities for us too, because we see some schools coming back with the same thing. It's just they don't quite fit in the landscape of everything now.
Yeah, Florida State football was playing Division II football last year. At least it seemed like.
I
just heard that.
Hey now.
Theo, what's your football team? Theo?
Hey now.
I'm a Canes fan, so we had a solid year last year, so don't get on me.
Yeah, I mean, that last ACC championship you guys got was great. I mean,
we don't count the conference championships. We count the national championships mainly from 2+ decades ago. Okay, that's how we live.
Were you born? Were you born the last time they won?
Hey, I'll have you know, I suffered through the 03 Fiesta Bowl when we got cheated out of another one against Ohio State as a young lad. So I will never forgive Chris Gamble for that.
Oh, we're going to start that here. Okay.
Yeah, I'll never forgive him.
This is between you and Chris. Let's keep my Buckeyes out of it. Chris Swager, Kaiser University AD, is our guest for Ask the AD. Chris, you brought up something that I want to ask about because, to be honest, I think it was the first I heard of it. Partner, tell me again what they have to do with the NIL deals. They have to report the NIL deals to who again?
So there's a website. Let me try to think. What is it called? NIL Go.
Sure.
So basically, you're coming up. Yeah, and all of this. I mean, there's supposed to be a one-page fact doc going out to a lot of people to kind of clarify because it's all new. But basically, it'd be a website where you upload the contract and all the details, and then it gets approved. We do this similar with some of the stuff that we do now. Some of our partners through our NIL deals with NAIA, it's kind of a third party. So it goes in, someone verifies it, and then like someone else touches the money and distributes it out. So
Okay.
instead of there's eyes on it. So someone's
Yep.
going to view it and either approve it or not, versus me just giving you money because of who you are. Now there's an actual fight, organization, entity, something tied to what NIL was supposed to be: name, image, likeness.
Yep.
You have a brand, you have social media following. You're going to endorse a dealership. Well, then something's got to tie to the money you're getting. It is what I understand it to be. But again, they kind of we have to see it in motion. What happens when someone denies it? Who's approving these things? I mean, this is all stuff that, is kind of everyone's trying to figure out right now.
So, Chris, let me ask you this. What's stopping some of these athletic directors or guys who run the money, so-called, for these college programs to not telling or going to this website and going, hey, this guy is getting this in NIL? Is that going to be an issue? Like, is there a possible world we live in where a promise is made from somebody, some no-names please donor, that he's going to give this amount of money to this person, have that not be reported, and have it be completely off the books and no one ever find out?
Possibly. I mean, that's been going on for a long time. So,
Right.
I mean, I don't
Sure.
think that. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, this is operating on good faith. A lot of this is operating on good faith that they're going to report this, right?
Right. Well, I mean, again, the thought process is the schools now have a pool of money that they're able to directly pay someone, right? So I'm going to recruit you. Now, I would think some people think, I've read some stuff where it actually may help some of the problem, because now there's a cap. So instead of me giving a quarterback $6 million, receiver $8 million, going down the line, I kind of have to work within that number. So it might balance out a little bit. Now you obviously have to find an additional $20.5 million somewhere to allocate. I mean, not everyone has revenue. Not everyone is making that on top. So you got to find the money. But since I can give you money now, that someone else may not have to come in and do something on the side. But again, it's always been done. So yeah.
So it's like, do you have the 20.5, right, that you're going to distribute to all of your teams however you see fit, and then you also have your NIL donors like, Tyson Chicken for Arkansas, for instance, that's going to be able to add additional money to that 20.5.
They could pay yes. So my understanding is then they could, obviously do NIL contracting, so. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to sign a starting quarterback, you're just giving them 6, and then your top boosters then going to also give them an NIL deal to show up on a billboard for whatever that dollar amount is. So
I see.
But the goal is that there's some eyes on it now, right? It's not, I guess there probably needs to be some sort of like, what did you do? Like, I'm giving you $14 million for a commercial to show up at a car, a car show or a dealership to sign some stuff. I mean, someone's at least looking at something. So it in theory, it sounds good, but we won't know until the application.
Chris Swager, Kaiser University AD, is our guest on Ask the AD. Chris, how is this affecting our Kaiser Seahawks and kind of your day-to-day job right now after this came out and dropped?
I mean, again, I think everything trickles down, right? So we have recruits. We deal with everyone from Division I, Division II, high school kids. I think there's a lot of kids that, between the portal and the uncertainty in the NCAA and how stuff was going to go, I think some of them maybe delayed their decisions or were kind of waiting. So I do think it helps kind of close some loops for us and kind of finalize recruiting as best we can. So I think it definitely helps us there. And then I think overall, now schools will start making decisions on where they're going to be. So I think whether that be getting game schedule, whether it be how conference realign, because everything affects everyone. If I need games, say I need a football game, depending on what conference you're in, it's going to dictate how many games you have. So if you make a movement, then you may need to pick up some, or you may lose some. So, that's kind of where it affects us a little bit. So,
yep. Chris says,
let me ask you: is this the weekend that Colin's out?
And
are you planning on doing this permanently because Colin won't return from
Chris, I was gonna wait till the end to touch on this, but listen, partner, let's touch on it now because I needed to check in with them. I texted him update, as I was walking out of the City Place studios last night at 7:04. He goes, cool spot, good weather. Did a 2.5-mile run today. Not bad. Didn't get hurt. Won't say it was fantastic. Altitude didn't bother me in that small run. I said, good stuff. By the time you wake up tomorrow, you won't even know the difference between the altitude. It's the first day, and that's it. Chris, I'm more worried about the bike. I've been telling you now for the last couple of months, I've been worried about the bicycle and Colin specifically with this half Ironman that he's going to be doing, and now this phantom groin injury. So I really don't know what's going on with the phantom groin injury, the extent of it. Chris, I think a lot of it's in his head with the groin.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten acclimated. I would have just landed and gone. I think it's like going to play in a different time zone. You just get in and you do it. You know, you don't go too early because we'll see. Has he sent over this link for this tracking? Wasn't that supposed to be a thing too? So we can
yes.
Put some odds on when he doesn't finish.
He said he would send me the tracking link Friday because the race is actually Saturday. He's going to have the ability to send this to us on Friday. Chris, how about this? I'll make sure it gets I'll send it to our group chat. I'll send it to our group chat that you, myself, and Colin Russo have so we can keep a track on this. Chris, is he going to finish? Your best guess.
Well, at first, if no one sees it, I want to make sure he puts it on the right person. Not the guy sitting next to him. But
should have air tagged.
You're gonna think he's gonna put it on it. Come on.
Should have air tagged him.
So you don't think he's operating in good faith out there in Boulder, Colorado? I gotta defend my guy.
I mean, will he finish or will he finish in time? Is he gonna?
I mean, I said 7
he could
hours.
Power walk it, I guess, but.
So Chris, I said 7 hours and 15 minutes. I said 7:15. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, they may be packed up and gone, but I mean, I don't know. Did he get a new bike? You know, he was talking about how did he get his bike out there? I never found that one out.
Actually, Mark Anajar from our good friends at Anajar and Levine gave him his case, and he took it on the plane with him.
Nice.
So he got some help from but Chris, the bike, as I said yesterday, he got swindled for the bike by a Ukrainian man and his wife for about $150, and it was probably worth $50. And it's not shocking to me that in the practice Ironman that he did at Key Biscayne, I hope I'm saying that right, down in Florida, that the tire blew out. But apparently he knows how to change his own tire. He has the tools to do it. He has the know-how to do it. I think it's just, is that bike going to be a fixable thing? If that bike just completely blows up during the thing, is it going to be fixable? I'm worried about the bike lasting the whole 20-some miles that it is.
Theo, are you an Ironman?
Oh hell no! What about? Why would I be doing an Ironman? You know what I'm saying? Like I will run. The most I need to run in one setting is maybe 1.5 miles. I did all of my training and cross country running in my youth. Got nothing to prove at the age of 32, man. I'm good.
Yeah,
so
I'm all
you
good.
You can get through the running, no biking and no swimming. You don't think?
I could do to be honest with you, I can do all three, and I don't really need to necessarily train for it.
Let's not.
Here we go. All right.
Let's not do that.
How long is the swim? Just a quick question.
How
long is the swim?
A mile and like 1.8 miles.
Okay, I can do that. How long is the bike?
56 miles.
Jeez.
56 miles on the bike and then a 20-mile run.
I would
walk it back.
20-mile run.
20-mile run.
So you're doing pretty much a marathon.
I mean, that's what a half Ironman is.
I didn't know.
It's swimming.
Oh, that was a half marathon.
Swim. It's a half Ironman, but swimming,
never
biking,
mind.
and running. So Colin is swimming 1.8, then biking 50 miles, and then running. I think it's either 13 or 20.
I could do a half
13.
marathon. I could do a half marathon tomorrow. I could not do a full.
Chris, the kid has told me for the last 6 months, and I can't remember the amount he's running, but I think it's anywhere from 13 to 20.
Running is easy.
So, Theo, you sound pretty confident. You think if you train for this, you could beat Colin?
Absolutely, I could beat Colin if I trained for it. But I can guarantee y'all, I just have no will to want to do that. Now, I'll beat his half marathon time. How about that? Whatever he does in the half marathon, is that the first thing he's doing?
Theo, you know who our general manager is over in West Palm Beach. She's going to make you do it.
I'm cool. I can do a half marathon.
You do this.
Not worried about that.
So you are okay.
Running is easy.
You are okay with committing yourself to
I would not do a half Ironman, though. But do a half marathon, yeah.
But you are okay to committing yourself to a half
I'm
Ironman.
good with it.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Chris, before partner, like I said, I'll send you the link. This is Chris Swager, Ask the AD, the Kaiser University AD. I'll send you the link so we can follow. We'll be texting back and forth. But, Chris, before we wrap things up, I wanted to ask you, with the 7-on-7 coming up on Saturday, how important it is, how important is this for the community, not only for Kaiser, but the West Palm Beach community as well?
No, I mean, I think it's big. I mean, we have obviously some of the best athletes in the country, in the world, and obviously some of the best football in the country. So I think allowing them to showcase what they can do locally. I mean, I know a lot of these teams will travel throughout the country, but, from a budget standpoint, they can come right down the road. They can compete. It's kind of naming rights for who's the best. And if I'm not mistaken, a couple of the teams that have won in the past have had some pretty good seasons after that. So I think it kind of sets them up for the year. And it's just good to get the community out here. If you haven't been here, I mean, it's packed. You got pool play in the morning, and then actually we've got the flag football event in the middle part of it. And then when we get to the championship rounds in the evening, it's really good. It's competitive. I think again, if you like high school football in the area, it's a great event to go to, and you're going to see some people here that are going to have some big seasons, a lot of top 63 guys kind of setting up for that. And a lot of these guys will be playing one day, on Saturdays and maybe even on Sundays. So it's a great chance to come out and see them.
Yep. Chris, we appreciate the time, partner. Appreciate you helping me understand that new NIL deal that came down. We will be texting about Colin and his half Ironman. Partner, we appreciate you joining the show as always.
All right, thanks. Start training, Theo.
He's going to hold you to that.
Absolutely not.
He's going to hold you to that. Chris, thank you. Partner, you know what you just did?
What?
You just committed to a half iron, to a half marathon.
Here's the thing.
Theo,
I
that's
ran
like a big thing.
I ran cross country in high school, and on Mondays we would do 7 miles every Monday.
So let me tell you this real quick. I run a 5K about 5-6 days a week, which is 3.12 miles. Mm-hmm. Brother, I'm dying.
Yeah.
I'm dying. By the time I'm over, it's like, thank God it's over. That's 3 point. Now, granted, I'm on a treadmill. I'm not going at my own pace.
Oh, get the hell out of here then.
I'm pushing myself.
Okay, I feel you. I'm just saying,
but
treadmill running
remember the last
different.
time we played basketball?
Yes.
Brother, we were dead.
Out of shape. I'm out of shape.
We were dead.
But running,
dead.
endurance running, like long distance, I can do easily.
Well, Theo just, I guess,
I'll keep my pace down.
Theo just indirectly signed up for a half marathon with our good friend Chris Swager.
Fine with that. I'm a model of shape.
Before we go to timeout, there is an amazing tournament going on at the Oakmont Country Club. Christian Cat, you are in your glory with the U.S. Open. Give us an update, partner.
Oh, I'd be happy to. I'd be honored to, actually. Thank you for giving me the floor. This leaderboard update is brought to you by Pain Care Florida. At Pain Care Florida, their specialists use state-of-the-art procedures to relieve pain and get you moving. Pain Care Florida. Stop hurting. Start living today. This leaderboard update is also brought to you by the Breakers Palm Beach, Kaiser University, and PGA Golf Club. JJ Spawn is still your leader. He was off one of the early tee times. He had a bogey-free 4-under round. He is tied atop because Sung Jae Im is now actually on his second 9, and he joins him tied atop at 4-under. Thriston Lawrence, the South African, is at 3-under. He's in the clubhouse, one shot off the lead today, tied with both Matthew Pavon and Erasmus Nargard Peterson at 3-under, a three-way tie for third. Alone in sixth, 2 shots off the lead, you have Si Woo Kim and Brooks Koepka. He is lurking in a crowded tie for seventh that has double digits at 1 under par, just 3 shots off the lead. It is anybody's tournament here early. And oh, by the way, Scotty Scheffler, he teed off like 45 minutes ago, so you can expect him to climb up that leaderboard as we get further and further into the day. Other notable names, well, Rory McIlroy didn't have a day he'd like to remember. He's 4 over on the tournament. That's 8 shots off the lead, a tie for 81st. He joined the likes of Matt Fitzpatrick, Wyndham Clark, Lucas Glover at that not-so-flashy number. That was your leaderboard update brought to you by Pain Care Florida.
$21.5 million purse out at the U.S. Open right now. So best of luck to all the golfers. I'm looking forward to watching coverage coming up on Sunday. We got to take a timeout because the Don is joining the show.
Uh-oh.
Evan Cohen.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he the Don?
The Don.
Wow.
That's right. He's the big boss.
I would say,
You wanna
Evan Cohen can
Do you wanna
make people in this office made men. Like there are people that are,
Wow.
where
He's
they,
the Don.
he can give you his sign of approval and to carry some weight.
But doesn't the Don have to drink alcohol?
I don't drink alcohol.
But the Don would have to.
Yeah, that's true.
Don
No one
doesn't
said you
know,
were.
but he smokes cigars.
So hang on, guys. Yeah, you're right, Christian. Not everything's about me. I understand.
Yeah, how'd you insert yourself into
You're
the
right. You're right. I guess.
What the hell What the hell was that?
That's true. Evan Cohen and Mike Rizzo are often in the same conversation. It was either Mike Rizzo's the Don or it's Evan Cohen.
I was about to say, hang on though. I was about to give Theo his flowers before he dogged me.
Yeah.
I think you're
I didn't
probably.
dog you.
I think you're out of everyone on the content team. You're probably next up to be a made man. Now that I think
Really?
about it. At least within good karma.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, wow.
Right?
At least he
Right?
qualified it afterward.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong on that? I feel like you'd probably.
But
you'd
you
be up
and
there to be
you
a made
and
man.
but you and Colin
I
have deep roots in good karma. You know
I
what I'm saying?
do. I do. I was an intern and I was there for 5 5 years.
So y'all got the tenure. Y'all got
But I don't know.
on your side.
I don't know, Thee. I don't know. But certainly we're gonna have a lot of fun with Evan Cohen coming up.
The Don.
Next. The Don. Evan Cohen coming up next right here. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Get ready, South Florida. It's the 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl. Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at FAU's Flagler Credit Union Stadium. Two of the best group of 5 teams go head-to-head in the ultimate holiday showdown. Over 150 players have gone from this field to the NFL. Who's next? Visit BocaRatonBowl.com for the latest, including when tickets will go on sale. The 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl, Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at Flagler Credit Union Stadium.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar and Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Banyan Printing. For 47 years, the trusted partner for all your printing, mailing, and signage needs. And 2025 just brought something big to Banyan. Introducing Banyan's new press. Bigger, faster, and more competitively priced than anything you'll find anywhere in the Palm Beaches. Think variable data postcards, bulk mailings, and high-quality print on stocks up to a 24-point board. Banyan Printing. Visit banyanonline.com and discover how your business's printing materials can get bigger and better.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Rolling along here on Russo and Rizzo. We are live at Duffy's in Plantation. We are leading you up until the Final Hunt pregame show, which Jonathan Zaslow will lead you into NHL coverage between Game 4 coming up tonight right here on ESPN 106.3. We're streaming live on YouTube, Twitter/X, Facebook, all that good stuff. And you can listen to us live on the ESPN app. Well, joining me now is a very special guest to me, at least.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Rolling along here on Russo and Rizzo. We are live at Duffy's in Plantation. We are leading you up until the Final Hunt pregame show, which Jonathan Zaslow will lead you into NHL coverage between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. Game 4 coming up tonight right here on ESPN 106.3. We're streaming live on YouTube, Twitter/X, Facebook, all that good stuff. And you can listen to us live on the ESPN app. Well, joining me now is a very special guest to me, at least. It's Evan Cohen, who the damn studio is named after here at ESPN West Palm Beach. You could hear him weekdays 6 to 10, unsportsmanlike with himself, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman. By the way, Evan, I'm starting to call Michelle Smallman just a can of hot takes. We used her take of Aaron Rodgers yesterday on Russo and Rizzo of how some people think it's going to pan out.
I had about 6 callers call in wanting to talk Aaron Rodgers. So I just wanted to say, and I swear this isn't me brown nosing. You guys do a great job. We listen to you all the time.
Thank you.
But
Can't
first,
say the same.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. No, and obviously Ev is the big huncho. You know,
I'm
the
nothing.
big boss.
I'm nothing.
Ev's the big boss. So we appreciate you coming on, Evan.
No, I appreciate. Let me just say this. You and who's the other guy?
Colin Russo.
Colin. I'm not familiar with his work. You and Colin. The thing I love. Well, there's nothing I love. No, the thing I love about you guys is every day you want to be on the air as much as possible. You want to be on here. The idea that, obviously the station, as we should, making a big deal about the Panthers making this run, which is, I remember, here's something for you. My first year in West Palm was 2003. Marlins won the World Series in 2003. You and I both know this is not like a Marlins town.
Right.
But what this is when one of our teams that we can drive to is hot, everyone's all in on it. And that was my first year. And I was on 7P to 9P. And really it was mostly like 7 to 8 because a lot of times we had Heat games, Marlin games, whatever, Panthers games. You guys are getting the same thing that I got. In year one, getting everybody all pumped up for a potential championship for you guys with the Panthers. That's a great entrance point into kind of getting what this town is. This is not, you're not going to talk Panthers 24/7, 365, but everyone's kind of in on this now because it's the hottest thing going on in South Florida sports.
Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike is our guest here on Russo and Rizzo. Now, Ev, let's start there with the NHL. Obviously, they've been having a big year with the Four Nations. I feel like this Stanley Cup has been great, 2 overtime games. And obviously here in South Florida, we loved the Game 3 that happened, the shellacking that the Panthers put on Edmonton. What have been your total thoughts on the NHL so far, especially with the Cup?
Riz, I don't follow it now like you guys are because, from nationally it's a little different. Obviously, it's not driving distance when I'm in New York, but I think what's interesting about this is it's amazing. So Biz on TNT the other night and the interaction with Gary Bettman, the whole thing, I'm sure you guys discussed it, like the idea of the state taxes in Florida and whether or not it's an advantage for the Panthers and the Lightning. It's so funny to me that people are actually saying, does the state of Florida have advantages with hockey? Because for as long as I lived here full time, which is a decade plus basically, we stunk in the state of Florida in hockey. Like this was not a hockey town.
Right.
And so it's interesting that theme is such an interesting one because, oh, by the way, 06, 12, 13, the Heat won championships. 06, 11, 12, 13, 14, the Heat or whatever it was in the finals, and then the 2 Jimmy Butler. That didn't come up.
Right.
Marlins won the World Series title in 97 and 03. The Magic were in the finals, right, with Shaq, obviously, and then after that with Dwight Howard. Like, we've had insane professional sports success in this state. Hockey hadn't been a part of that until recently, and now we're worrying about the taxes in Florida being an advantage. What are we talking about here? And Biz does an amazing job. He's funny on Barstool, funny on TNT. Gary Bettman's reaction, the commissioner of the NHL, who does live in South Florida for part of the year, his reaction of what are we talking about here?
Right.
I think it's the right. I don't know that I ever, in 20 years of day-to-day hosting on ESPN West Palm, ever had a call, a topic, or anything. And shame on me, Riz. Maybe I should have. Hey, do we have an advantage with the tax situation? I never thought of it.
Totally. And I feel like it could be stuff with other leagues, too.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like it could be stuff with
Shouldn't
the NFL.
It be more an advantage?
Trickle it down. You can trickle down to any league.
Shouldn't it be more of an advantage theoretically in baseball?
Totally. And especially
where there's no cap?
And especially with everything being guaranteed. So I see the point all over the place on that. But it's like, I guess you could say the proof is in the pudding because the Lightning and the Panthers have represented the Eastern Conference in the NHL for the last 5 or 6 years.
You think that's because of state tax?
I disagree wholeheartedly. I think it's because they've done a good job of building the roster.
100%. 100%. Because the Dolphins have stunk for as long as I've lived here.
Please, the Dolphins have the longest play. And I'm sure you will check me. I think they have the longest playoff drought of not winning a playoff game.
Yeah.
Right?
I think you're right, yeah.
So, I mean, and being in the community, I understand there's a lot of Dolphin fans around here that are starving for good football. So it's interesting.
They're going to be hungry for a while.
Yeah, and gosh, Ev, I guess let's go there. I mean, I did yesterday. I did the quarterback pressure gauge, and Tua came up and was a topic of conversation.
Yeah.
The pressure isn't on that young man to be good. We know he's good. It's to stay healthy.
Yeah, but how good, Riz? Like, when you think about this team, Mike McDaniel, who I like and I think was going to be a good coach.
But hang on, let me push back. Didn't he lose the locker room a bit last year?
Well, something's off, clearly. because Jonnu Smith, tight end, seemingly on the way out. Jalen Ramsey, corner, seemingly on the way out. Theo Dorsey, obviously on before you every day here on ESPN West Palm, 2 to 4. Literally, I was on with him last week, and Theo was volunteering to drive to Davie, pick up Tyreek Hill, and drive him to the airport to get him off the team.
Jeez.
I mean, it's a terrible buzz about that team right now. I mean, honestly, it's just not. There's not a good vibe around that team.
There were a lot of distractions,
and
with
you don't have
Tyreek.
the faith that they're going to get themselves out of it. See, here's the thing: you and the other guy,
Colin Russo.
Yeah. You guys want to kind of portray yourselves as, come on, Heat, we got here a year ago. Prove to us you're the legit franchise, right? You haven't done it since Russo and Rizzo, have been here, right? You're not anti. You just want to see them do it. You have faith. When you hear the reports that Shams Charania puts out there, ESPN NBA Insider, that the Heat are in the mix for Kevin Durant, it's not unbelievable that they would get him. It'd be unbelievable if they got him, and then all of a sudden Russo and Rizzo would be riding the Kevin Durant bandwagon and showing up at 601 Biscayne. Let's go Heat all of a sudden, the two of you dopes, right? You'd run because everybody would be on board.
It's the hot ticket, right?
They're right, exactly right. But the point is, you could believe that. It's hard to believe the Dolphins find their way out of this. That's the difference between those two franchises.
You got Greer. I don't, the general manager there, the head coach. I think McDaniel could
be something.
Yes. But the issue is, I don't know how much, and I say power, but like maybe it's leadership qualities he offers to a locker room. I didn't like what I saw from him last year. I did not like the stuff coming out of that locker room, and the players certainly weren't playing like an NFL franchise in some of those games.
You have every right to feel that way. Again, like there's some recency bias in like, you guys doing exactly what I did, right? It's like, hey, my opinions are going to be made from like the moment that I got here on,
right?
While studying the past when I wasn't here, which is so many people in Palm Beach County, the Treasure Coast. It's like, you find so many people, so many amazing people in this community that move here from somewhere else, and some of their opinions start from that moment. Like I will forever say that. Even though the University of Florida, Todd Golden won a championship, Walter Clayton Jr., when I had him, I filled in around First Take, and he was a host. I was hosting. He was on with me. Couldn't have been nicer. In my head, I'm like, well, you're not Noah Horford Brewer. Like, you're not during my day, right? And that's that. I become a back in my day South Florida guy. And You guys are in the moment now, you and Colin, of like, all right, let's see what happens. Like, let me see. The Dolphins franchise I'm seeing, I don't love. The Panthers, you have no memory of them being horrific.
Exactly.
You're looking at them as like we did this on our show, on Unsportsmanlike. Panthers, Dodgers, Thunder, which maybe now looks bad, from this moment on are the three most logical potential dynasties.
Yep.
Right? Potential.
Totally.
And you're going to tell me, because you see it's not Thunder and Dodgers, it's the Panthers, 3 in a row, potentially 3 in a row in the Cup, 2 in a row overall.
We agree they got to win this year and make it 2. In order to be a dynasty, you got to win 2. But Evie, it's a good point. There's not a lot of teams that have that dynasty factor, and I think that's something that the NBA has kind of struggled with because for years you had LeBron, you had Steph, you had these great teams. Before that, the three-peat Lakers, the San Antonio Spurs. You said the league you grew up with. The league I grew up with were dynasties, were players you could get behind. So it's interesting that you brought that up. Now, Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike is our guest here.
Good reset.
On
Good
Russo
timing
Rizzo.
on that. Very good.
6 to 10 weekdays in the morning. Himself, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman. Ev, let's talk about that Heat run. We're talking about runs here. Obviously, we're going on with a great run with the Florida Panthers. I can't wait to be in the building coming up tonight after we're done here.
How
at
have you
Duffy's
experienced that? Because I have not been to a Stanley Cup final for the Panthers.
So I was at a watch party, and that was electric.
Rocking?
Colin and I stayed at the watch party for the overtime game. Absolutely electric. I did not get to go to the Stanley Cup game on Monday, but I will be in the building tonight, so I will get back to you on that.
Okay. Oh, so you haven't been to it?
I haven't been to a Stanley Cup, but I will
you went to a playoff game?
Yeah. So I have not been to a playoff game, but my uncle, who's from Boston, big hockey fan, big Bruin guy, he also is kind of a bandwagon Panther guy, believe it or not, Bruin. I know that makes no sense.
No, I believe it.
But
South Florida.
Yeah, but we sat, Ev, and I tell you, I kid you not, he tells you it's the best seats in the house right behind the goalie on the glass. Yeah. And it was an experience like none other. The go Cats go, unbelievable atmosphere.
Now,
there.
do you let Seacat get in the building? Or?
Seacat was there actually on Monday, and it was a big topic of conversation.
Really?
So Ev, I gotta fill you in on this, and you're gonna throw.
Why are we allowing Seacat in the building?
You're gonna
no this building.
Christian, go ahead. Christian, go ahead and try to defend yourself.
Well, I wasn't going to bring that up. when you asked about the Stanley Cup atmosphere, I find it difficult to get better than any hockey game atmosphere because I'm going to cheer just as loud for a goal in the second period of a regular season game as I would in a Stanley Cup game.
That makes no sense.
All right. And
how?
If as a Panthers fan or bandwagon, whatever it is,
As a fan of anything, yeah, I'm gonna pop.
How could you equate a second period of a game in November against the Blues to the Stanley Cup Finals?
Because there's so infrequent scoring in hockey or even soccer to compare those two. So you're gonna pop no matter what.
You're a soccer guy.
Huge soccer guy.
Inter Miami, awesome.
Yep.
You're gonna tell me an Inter Miami regular season game versus an Inter Miami playoff game, the pop is not going to be different?
It's different. And it's going to be different for the Club FIFA World Cup coming up June 14th. Get your tickets now, FIFA.com/tickets.
But that experience is for the person in the building. So if I go to 2 hockey games a year and one of them happens to be November 14th, I'm going to get excited as heck for it.
But you don't walk into, tonight, Riz is going to walk into the building. It's going to feel, to me, you walk into, especially, again, this is not relatable to the masses, but I'll just do it this way. When you work in this industry, as we all do, you guys for now.
Come on, Ev.
when we all work in this industry, wait, I get to do a show at Duffy's before a Stanley Cup final, and then I walk into the Stanley Cup final, you don't feel a sense of accomplishment? And by the way, if you're a business person and you get offered tickets, or you're able to buy the tickets, that's a sense of accomplishment because it's a big deal.
Let me put this in perspective. So this time last year, okay, I was going into Peoria Riverman games with about 1,500 people there.
Mm-hmm.
To put it in full, absolutely,
you probably
still
should be there, Christian said.
The pride is there for me. You're right, but the pride is there for me. You're right.
How can it not be? You're doing a show before the Stanley Cup Finals.
And a lot of it
Even if you're not a huge hockey guy,
correct,
who cares?
Correct. A lot of it has to do with you believing in me, Stephanie Prince believing in me, but that's
all
not
right. All right.
At the same
Stop
time,
kissing butts.
I'm doing crowd noise meter. Crowd noise meter felt the same. It feels different in between. Maybe when the crowd national anthem feels different.
Maybe people agree with you. I don't know. But that, to me, is a wild take that a regular season environment could be equal to a postseason
Christina
environment.
Costanzo, who you could hear on this programming 3 to 4 on theoretically speaking, she told me they broke records with a meter. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that is true.
They broke records on a meter.
The goal that made it 4-1 did break the crowd roar record for a sporting event.
No, but C-Cat's saying that Tuesday, November 14th against the Blues is a better environment.
Okay, so that's a different argument for a different day.
No, it's not. That's literally the argument.
All right, this one you might get more angry at me for. How about that?
Okay, go ahead.
This is the same guy who bet. Is this where you were going here? Did I steal the thunder?
You did. So let him go. You brought him in. Let him go.
We left when it was 5-1 with 7 minutes to go in the Stanley Cup final game 3.
Beat the traffic?
Beat the traffic.
I
got up really early that morning.
I
got to work
the
next day.
I'm on your side.
I am too. And I would have been worse. I told them
beating the traffic is the number one thing you could do at anything in the world.
7:26, second period, 4-1. I'm probably leaving.
That's a little early.
4-1 with 7 minutes in the second.
What if it was a clinching game?
That's different.
You gotta stay for the
raise
trophy
the cup,
ceremony.
definitely.
Yeah,
that's different. But we weren't there. There's a game 3. There's a game 4 and a game 5. I'm leaving. I'm an hour away.
Did you get crushed by people on this?
Oh yeah,
by a couple people. The real problem is that
that's
we
acting a little spoiled. To be fair,
yeah.
And as somebody that acknowledges I am spoiled relative to sports, I can relate. Average everyday person listening to ESPN West Palm, Palm Beach County, the Treasure Coast thinks you're a spoiled brat with that.
I think so. I think
you have free access.
Sure, that is definitely the case. But I think even more so, bad teammate, bad friend to Christina Costanza, who drove us and wanted to stay. So me and Colin Russo kind of ganged up and said we both kind of want to head out of here.
Hard.
Something I take pride in. It's always being and listen.
You're a terrible teammate. Let's be honest.
Come on,
I'm kidding. Relax, Mike.
4 years sober. Something I take pride in is being able to.
We got a little too serious.
No, you can't sober off Evan Cohen.
Hang on, no.
What the hell?
I promise you, this is all going to come together. Something I take pride in is being able to have my vehicle wherever I'm at.
I agree.
And being
I
able
don't
to
drink,
leave,
so I agree.
And being able to leave.
That's a terrible. That is
bad
planning.
Job. That is bad planning.
Wait a second.
Bad planning.
You first of all, why did you make Christina drive?
I didn't make. I took up her offer And I didn't do this, but I was going to say, hey, don't worry. If you want to leave, I'm okay with leaving early. I didn't know she was going to be the one that was begging to stay.
That is a terrible
How
job.
about, hey, do you want to know what Colin did? Colin goes, all right, Tina, we're leaving. Him and Christian walk into the hallway. Tina stays. Colin goes back to Tina and goes, Tina, let's go. We're leaving. Oh, he was. And listen, fair play to him.
That's nasty.
I honestly, like.
Get an Uber, Colin.
If I.
Get an Uber.
An hour away.
No, go to the.
Away.
No.
I got to have his back
I have
on
an
this.
idea.
Okay.
Be creative.
Yeah.
Uber to the Bright Line up.
You might be onto something.
I might be.
You might be.
That
onto
is,
something.
I did not know this.
Yeah, that's
okay.
That's what happened.
And let me just tell you, C-Cat knows this. I am extremely close with Christina in real life.
Yes.
She has stayed at my house many of times. She's very close with my family. Okay? I didn't know that. Colin is lucky he's not here. And I know Colin's family. They don't know this. I'm going to talk to Colin's family.
Come on.
Whoa.
You know what's interesting about this show? I know Rizzo's family well. I know Colin's family well, and I've known C-Cat since he was a little intern somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
I can bury all three of you. You two.
Don't tell Shine.
You two have done nothing. Michael has done nothing wrong in this case. C-Cat, gray area. Colin should be fined and suspended.
Whoa.
That is
Suspended.
I would like Colin Russo suspended. The day after the Panthers win the Cup, not on the air.
Wow.
Mike, you know what? Do 3 hours that day. Solo.
Understood.
Solo.
Can we do, if you want to levy a punishment, I think I think a better, more impactful suspension will be served if and when we're on remote at the parade. That's a show you want to do a little, even more so. Because I think for Colin, there's more pressure to come up with something creatively and have a tank and angle.
You know what? We're going to need the day of the parade. If you guys do the show there, we're going to need like an intrepid reporter, so to speak, out and about. I like Colin in the crowd on a cell phone pulling in.
Hear me out on this, Evan.
Yeah, then I got to go.
Okay, I know you do. But hear me out on this.
I love you guys, but I have to be somewhere.
I understand. Hear me out on this. Cousin Michael, if they win, we're all going to be on the boat, and he's going to have to work. How
Who the
about
hell's
that?
Cousin Michael?
Cousin Michael is Michael in Boca, and he has a boat. And what I'm saying is me, Christian, and all the team are on the boat while Colin has to work.
I'm totally fine punishing Colin and not myself in this, but I feel like I'm getting off scot-free.
That's just a bad job. You see, you guys set this up incorrectly.
Okay.
C-Cat set this story up as if the theme was leaving early from a sporting event. Every single person listening has left the sporting event early to beat the traffic. Have they left the Stanley Cup Finals?
No.
The NBA Finals?
Probably
No.
not.
That's where we all come off spoiled.
Definitely.
Okay? Because you and I agreed. Hey, leave early. What I didn't know is someone else was driving. This is a good question for you guys. Put this out on social media. If someone else is driving, are they in charge of the exit time?
I would say yes.
Is the driver always, you go out with friends, you have a designated driver if people drink, is that person in charge of the exit time?
I think if they make it apparent before you agree to carpool, I don't think once you get into that car, it's Sharia law and whatever they says goes. And I think it's majority rule once you are at the location if there was not a predetermined exit strategy.
There has to be an understanding. I agree with Christian. Evan, I know you're a busy man. You got to leave. I appreciate you joining us here on Russo and Rizzo. We are live, by the way, in the remote Evan Cohen studios on ESPN 106, where you can listen to Evan, obviously, 6 to 10 on Sports Like himself, Chris Canty, Michelle Smallman. Tell everyone we said hello.
I won't.
That's going to leave the show tomorrow,
That's how he's going to leave. That's how he's going to leave. We're coming right back here. Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
Mike Rizzo here with the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management Program. NIL has been a topic of conversation for a long time now in college sports. A settlement was finally made in the House versus the NCAA court case. The settlement is going to pay a whopping $2.8 billion back to athletes who lost name, image, and likeness from 2016 and on. So if you played in 2016 on, you could receive some of that $2.8 billion. And moving forward, each school can pay its athletes up to a certain limit. The annual cap is expected to start at roughly $20.5 million per school. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management Program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on the job placement for students and graduates. The FAU MBA in Sport Management Program.
The playoffs are heating up, but your home shouldn't. Stay cool with EDS air conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can take advantage of 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong in sports, not in your home. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, EDS is the name you can trust since 2006. Visit EDSIsYes.com today. Game day comfort starts now. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Get ready to elevate your driving experience with the all-new 2025 Range Rover Velar P250 Dynamic SE. A stunning blend of luxury performance and technology that will make every drive unforgettable. Right now, you can lease the new Velar for just $809 per month for 36 months. Yes, only $809 a month for a luxury SUV that sets new standards on the road. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
As market dynamics change, the quality and service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Partner-owned since 1923, Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't. Visit ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
It's Theo Dorsey, and I'm feeling hot, hot, hot. Temperatures are up, but your water shouldn't be full of mystery floaties. Culligan's got your back with water testing and reverse osmosis systems to keep things clean, cool, and crisp this summer. And get this, you can try it for just $10 a month. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and stop drinking who knows what. Visit Culligan.com today to schedule your free water test.
Hey, Culligan man!
The quality of our choices affects the quality of our lives. So, when it comes to how you move, do you choose to see a doctor or go to the #1 orthopedic specialists in the world, backed by a team who custom tailor your treatment? Do you choose to live with limitations or live life to the fullest by going to the place that's /1 at getting people back to what they love? Choose better, move better. Locations in West Palm Beach and Wellington. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
Duffy's Sports Grill is raising a glass to the class of 2025. Every graduation deserves a party, and Duffy's is the place to celebrate. Reserve your spot now and let Duffy's handle it all. With private party spaces, party platters, and custom menus for groups of 12 or more. Plus, now through June 15th, get a $10 MVP bonus for every $50 in gift cards you grab. Level up your graduation at Duffy's. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to book your party today. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Welcome on back, folks. Hour number 2 rolling on along here. Russo and Rizzo. We are live on Twitter/X, Facebook, YouTube, all that great stuff. You can check us out basically anywhere. And my favorite way to listen is to go to that ESPN app and click on ESPN West Palm. Folks, the Club FIFA World Cup is 2 days away. We are 2 days away from Inter Miami and Al Ahly opening up, which is going to be one of the best soccer tournaments in recent history with the Club FIFA World Cup.
Can't wait.
Opening up down in Miami, Hard Rock Stadium. Get your tickets now by going to FIFA.com/tickets. That is FIFA.com/tickets. You got Inter Miami and Messi, as I mentioned, doing action with Al Ahly, but that's hardly the story. Real Madrid is going to be playing at Hard Rock. Manchester City is going to be playing at Hard Rock, and there are games all across the country. Get online, FIFA.com/tickets, to get your tickets not only to the games coming up at Hard Rock, but around the country as well. FIFA.com/tickets. Now, Theo Dorsey, we are live at the Duffy's location in Plantation.
Come on now.
And we have we have a bunch of stuff that we got to give away. We got $50 gift cards we got to give away, Theo Dorsey.
So this is how it's going down, all right? And if you're in the Duffy's right now with me, I want you to tap in because there's some money you can win. If you are listening to us on the radio or streaming us on the app, Mike's favorite way to listen, or maybe you are watching us on YouTube at ESPN West Palm, this is how you can get in on the action. Pull up to the Duffy's in Plantation. Come and see us at the radio booth. We're set up right here in the back amongst the 80 or more television screens. We got $50 gift cards to give away. You can win them. All you got to do is enter a free raffle. It's literally a free entry to get $50 in MVP points for you to be able to spend those any way you'd like. 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. Of course, you know what it is at a Duffy Sports Grill. So pull up, get yourself into this raffle. What time we want to give away the winner?
7 o'clock. I will pick a winner.
Okay.
At 7 o'clock coming
2
up
hours.
tonight. Once again, we are on site at the Duffy's location in Plantation.
Not
if
playing.
you want a chance to win some $50 gift cards to our great partners at Duffy's, come get your raffle ticket. I will be drawing the raffle tickets coming up later on at 7 o'clock. So if you want some Duffy's, baby. And I'll tell you what, the firecracker
It's like a
shrimp
W.
was unreal. The Tex-Mex egg rolls were unreal. Get on out to the Duffy's location in Plantation.
Tight.
Christian, this is the part of the show where I usually welcome you to the show and ask you how you're doing, but we've been talking to you for the better half of almost 4 hours now. Christian Cad, how you doing back at the City Place Studios?
Dealing with termites. A lot of them.
What?
Wow.
Uh-huh.
In the studio?
No, not
So
here.
Christian, I told all right. The reason I dealt with some insects in my apartment, and I finally got it figured out last week when we finally delivered the final blow to the final ant nest that we found in the wall. It took specialists to come on over through my apartment, and they're officially out of the apartment, Christian.
What'd you do? What final blow was it?
It was finding the final nest that was nestled up. And then apparently I told you I wasn't the only apartment that it was affected by. It was multiple apartments within my building that had it was like brownish, I don't even know, brownish 2-antenna ants.
Jeez.
Yeah, not
I'm a one
termites, but it was ants. I was under attack.
Well, it's great for you. I'm under
Cat, what's up
attack
with these
right
termites?
now, and I'm still I'm down in the count. It's like I am in the Revolutionary War, and I am the British, and the termites are the Americans, and I'm getting beat down.
Oh, no.
It feels like it's their turf.
Now-
These subterranean termites are ridiculous.
When did you see them? Recently? Like an hour ago?
No, I saw them for the first time this time last year, but we kind of defended the fort enough to where they eventually went away. But once we got to this early summer season, those late afternoon sun showers have them flying around.
They're back.
And they are back, and they are looking for cover, refuge in my kitchen. And it was a graveyard last night. And I said that they're winning the battle just by the mere fact that we're having a battle whatsoever. It's on their terms, but I had to be out like 30 to 35 of them late last night with termite killer.
Gosh, that's tough. Insects are the worst.
Yeah.
Are they not?
I mean, they are.
And now you
They're
grew
the
up in
worst.
the South in H-Town.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you had Theo. You know, there are some
You
insects.
saying my mama's house was dirty? What you trying to say?
I'm not saying your house.
What
but
you getting at?
Now, I know how
comparatively to where I
you
grew
roll,
up, there were
Theo.
probably some crazier insects. What I'm saying is in the South,
Hey!
In the
He's
South.
like, yeah, Theo, you grew up with cockroaches, man. You did it. No, I mean, I'm messing with you. No, in the South, yes.
That's
you get
what I'm
more
trying to allude to.
infestation.
Like, I dealt with bees.
Yeah.
You know, bro, in the South, it ain't no joke. As
Hey.
I learned that my apartment got under attack.
Whenever we used to, so most of my family is from New Orleans, and I was introduced to flying cockroaches one time when I was staying at a certain relative's home in New Orleans. And the thing that was ticking me up, you know what? I'll say it was one of my aunties. Thing I'll say is because she was beefed out with me last time I saw her. I'll just say one of my dad's sisters, one of my aunties on my pop's side. So they don't know to listen to me between 4 and 6 anyway.
Sure, yeah, you're in the clear. You're in the clear.
So one of my aunties, she used to always had a flying cockroaches at her crib. In summers when I would have to stay with her, and she would act like I was tripping because I was mad that there was flying cockroaches in the room. And here I am, when I was first introduced to them, having to run from corner to corner of the room because I was scared out of my mind, because it's not like the flying cockroaches are like termite size. No, they're actually the size of a real big, fat, juicy cockroach.
Yep.
But they can actually just like take off. And it was my worst nightmare.
They're like the
so I've
bugs,
never-
the Lion
Right,
King that Timon
yeah.
and Pumbaa like. They've got some weight to them. The things are juicy.
It's actually the most miserable existence to be somewhere where flying cockroaches are existing.
I'm knocking on every piece of wood I see. I've not had a cockroach in the apartment.
Let me scoot over. Let me
Thank
get
God.
away from this guy.
I've not had a cockroach in the apartment.
Yeah,
I
yes.
told you
Not
we
yet.
had the ant issue, which got figured out. Oh, Christian, don't do that to me. You're going to do that to
South
me.
Florida.
You're going to do that to me. Do you guys?
How can C-Cat win this cockroach battle, though? Or is a termite battle?
Well, you could call a no. Now you could call a no names please, service that does it if you truly want to get rid of it. But Christian, maybe go online, a couple of forums, maybe see like if there's like vinegar oil that like you could put out. Do they like sweet? Is there some trap you could lay that they're gonna fall victim to? That's probably what I would do.
Yeah,
that's probably because I don't want to pay for no names.
Hey, you don't even have to call anybody anymore.
I don't want to.
Mike's.
I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm too cheap to pay for no names, please. If I know Christian, he is too, and he's going to figure this out on his own. Christian, I'd hit Reddit.
Yeah. Or you know what? I should bring up a spur of the moment conversation on the radio show that I'm on, and maybe someone will call in and give it to me for free. That would be a good idea.
Give him the number. Give him the number to call.
888-760-3776. How can Christian Cat get rid of his? What do you got? Termites? You said?
Yeah, subterranean termites. They have wings, and they shed the wings, and then they they colonize, and then they fester. It's disgusting.
God, mate. So if you guys got any,
No, I want a professional. I don't want ideas from callers. I want like someone from one of those billboards you see.
You don't want Ernie? You don't want our great caller Ernie in Boynton Beach telling you?
This is the time for Ernie.
Okay, all right. You don't want our good buddy Ernie calling in tell you how to get rid of these termites?
Yeah, I've like got my at-home DIY remedies, and it's like lavender, and you can't have lights by the windows because they'll want to get in. But apparently there's a window in my apartment that isn't 100% sealed, and they love that spot, and they're getting in through that spot. So it's been terrifying and terrorizing for me every single night here in South Florida.
Now, boys, do you want to know what isn't terrifying? What is a great place to be, unlike Christian's apartment right now, is the Boca Bowl. The 2025 Boca Raton Bowl is kicking off its 12th year, Tuesday, December 23rd at 2 p.m. at FAU Stadium. The game will be airing on ESPN. Two of the biggest and best teams from the group of five will battle it out for their shot at the title. More information at BocaRatonBowl.com. That's BocaRatonBowl.com. Follow along on Twitter at Boca Bowl and Facebook.com/Boca Bowl for more updates.
Yeah, so back to
coming right back.
Back to C-Cat's stank-ass apartment.
Yeah.
More after this.
And you couldn't even refute it because he started talking about the Boca Bowl.
And if you guys have any ideas on how to fix the problem at Christian's apartment right now with the flying subterranean termites, 888-760-3776. On the flip side of things, we'll take your calls and also hit the 5 and 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union. We're coming right back. Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Good people, Steele Dorsey. Travel back to prehistoric times for Dino Night at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium, Saturday, June 21st at 4 p.m., presented by Cox Science Center. Come out and get your picture taken with your favorite dinosaurs while also taking in a ball game. Plus, it's also another Kids Club Saturday with kids running the bases after the game. Stop by the ticket office to purchase your tickets or go to RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
What's the Anajar Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most, getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation, 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
When your team's best players have all been traded and the latest pick is overrated, just raise a glass with a friend or two and tell them more, tell them more, tell them more do. May your team be great and your picks be true, and if it falls apart, you'll know what to do. Just raise a glass with a fan or two and tell them more, tell them more, tell them more do. It's a crazy world, so what do? You tell them more, tell them more, tell them more do. Hey!
Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc.
Don't let the rising temperatures catch you off guard. Hey, it's Colin Russo, and since 1960, John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing has proudly served Palm Beach County, keeping homes cool and comfortable. Now's the time to upgrade your AC with great financing options. Plus, ask about the Cassidy Care Club, providing year-round peace of mind. Cassidy is part of our local community and supports organizations like the YMCA and the Palm Beach Gardens Youth Athletic Association. Keep cool with Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Find out more at CassidyAC.com.
It's the Hard Rock Bet Battle of the Bets. Two bets facing off. Winning side splits $250K in bonus bets every single day. Time to pick a side. Team underdogs or team favorites. Team over or team under. There's one way to settle this. Hard Rock Bet Battle of the Bets. Pick a side for $1. Win your share of $250K or more today. Prize pool will be paid out in bonus bets, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
It's Theo Dorsey, and I'm feeling hot, hot, hot. Temperatures are up, but your water shouldn't be full of mystery floaties. Culligan's got your back with water testing and reverse osmosis systems to keep things clean, cool, and crisp this summer. And get this, you can try it for just $10 a month. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and stop drinking who knows what. Visit Culligan.com today to schedule your free water test.
Hey, Culligan man!
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live at Duffy's in Plantation, Florida. You got to come out and see us, folks. We're giving away $50 gift cards. You heard that right. We're giving away $50 Duffy's gift cards. All you got to do is come to the Duffy's location in Plantation, Florida, and get signed up. And all you got to do to get signed up, it's easy. You grab a raffle ticket. I take one half, you take the other half, and you wait for your ticket to be called. I will be drawing it at 7 o'clock, so it's 7 p.m. We will be picking two lucky winners.
Shoot, you know what? How about 3? What if I threw a third one in there? $50 gift cards to Duffy's.
Okay.
I'm feeling kind of frisky.
Let's do it.
I'm feeling kind of friendly.
Well, if you're listening now and you're near Plantation, Florida, and need somewhere to watch the Panthers for Game 4, come to Plantation, Florida. Come to the Duffy's location in Plantation. Grab your raffle ticket and wait till 7 o'clock to possibly get a $50 gift card. Folks, our good friends at Hard Rock Bet have you covered on the betting side. Download that app today, the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store right now. We've had tremendous amount of turnaround for bettors on the parlay side. One bettor turned a $50 home run parlay into a $35,000 Grand Slam win last month. Theo, $50 bet for a $35,000 payday. Swing for the fences on your next baseball bet. You can knock it out of the park. Nice. Baseball season in full swing, not to mention the NBA Finals. Start with your first bet on Hard Rock Bet with the NBA Finals. Bet just $1 on the games. If both teams hit a three-pointer, you could score a $10 bonus bet. And not to mention the Florida Panthers coming up tonight. NHL Stanley Cup action. Myself and Theo Dorsey will be in the building tonight. Download that Hard Rock Bet app. No better time to get started. That is Hard Rock Bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in the state of Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you're concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT IT. It's time to buy it. We do have a caller, and I apologize. Christian, who is it? Who do we got on the line?
We got Joe in West Palm wants to give me a hand with the termite issue.
So, Joe, Christian has a war zone in his kitchen with the subterranean termites. Do you have any advice for old buddy Christian Cat?
Yes. He said he doesn't want to mess around. He wants a professional. I got the guy. We can take care of it. They're a nightmare. I've watched them attack people. But if you want to take my number, we can have someone out there tomorrow and take care of it for you.
All right. I'm going to get him off the air.
That's what I'm talking about, Joe.
That's how we do these things in radio biz.
Okay, perfect. So, Joe, what's going to have Christian's going to talk to you for a split second off the air. We appreciate it. Now, Christian, there you go.
He didn't even shout the name of his spot. He didn't even shout the name. He had a chance to shout the name.
There you go. Christian.
Talk biz first.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, talk a little biz with them because
biz.
I'll tell you what.
Don't be like the Bengals.
Yeah, do not be like the Bengals. But at the same time, I think that rookie should be playing. I do.
Oh my God!
I think he should be playing. I don't think.
You know what?
I don't think he should be throwing a fit. I think
C-Cat should learn how to cohabitate with the termites. I don't know.
So
I just think he should be happy to have a roof over his head.
You're comparing the Bengals You're comparing the Bengals to termites.
I'm just saying.
And learning how to coexist with termites.
I think that. If you think Shamar Stewart, first round pick out of Texas A&M, edge rusher for the Bengals, who is in the middle of a contract dispute with the one organization that has zero benefit of the doubt. If you think that he needs to be just grateful to be in the NFL, I think C-Cat should be grateful to have a roof over his head and learn how to cohabitate and coexist with the termites. Same thing.
I can't hear that and not laugh, but at the same time,
just be grateful to be alive.
That's the old man saying. But Shamar Stewart, okay, this is a guy who hasn't played it down in the NFL.
Yeah,
guy who hasn't proved anything in the NFL.
No,
and he's willing to play hardball with the city. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with the guy, and the reason I have a problem with it is because the reason he won't receive guaranteed money is because he's worried about getting in trouble.
He's not worried about that.
I mean, clearly he is. He's sitting.
Who's worried about it? They're the ones
he's making a fuss about it.
They're the ones that try to put it in his contract. They're concerned with him.
Be a decent human being for your rookie contract. You're going to get all your money.
Why would you draft me if you don't think I'm a decent human being? That's my question. I mean, you didn't do it to the dudes you drafted last in the first round. Why are you picking me to do it with?
Well, they're paying.
And next time, just don't draft me. I'll go to a real organization.
I'll tell you why. They're paying 3 people $30 million on the offense.
They're trying to find ways to squeeze.
And they drafted this kid to play on the defensive side for the guy who is sitting out and wants a new contract.
The Bengals are cheap. That's all it is. The Bengals are cheap.
Christian, let's bounce around a bit with our good friends at Flagler Credit Union with the 5 at 5.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for The 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
Last night, the Pacers beat the Thunder to take a 2-1 series lead in the NBA Finals. Mike, Theo, if you were to guess, what are the series odds currently on Hard Rock Bet?
I would say it's probably Thunder plus 105, Pacers plus 150. My best guess.
Well, that would be impossible. You can't have two teams that are both plus money.
That. Hey, you know what?
Minus 110 Pacers plus money for the Thunder.
Absolutely not. The Pacers are not favored because the Pacers are not going to win the NBA Finals still. I think Thunder plus 180, Pacers minus 220.
You're impressively close. Theo, I don't know if you had the Hard Rock Bet open before this segment or not, but it is Oklahoma City minus 230, Indiana plus 185. Do you think that's the fair odds?
Yeah, I think that's about right. The Thunder, actually, it should be Thunder still minus 700. They're not losing the NBA Finals, man.
If you bet against me betting on the Indiana Pacers, you'd be a millionaire. So listen. I think I got to take. I think I got to take the Pacers at this point. I think it's completely fair to say that the Pacers have a chance of winning. How is it not? If they win at home and go up 3-1, Theo, it's over. It's over.
Really?
It's a must-win game for the Thunder coming up. You don't think it is?
I agree.
You think the Thunder can go down 3-1 and come back?
Yes,
I don't.
I do think they can.
You think they can win 3 games in a row and win the whole thing?
Yes, I do think so.
Wow.
They're the better team. Now, will they is a different question because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had an absolute quit job down the stretch. They really wore him out, and he showed it. And I want to see that whole nonchalant attitude that all of them carry. I need to see a little bit more urgency from them in Game 4.
The guy, you just said he quit.
Shai, did you not see him give up an open dunk? Did you not see him quit on many possessions with the ball in his hands? He didn't box out Tyrese Halliburton several times.
I'm not arguing the fact that it may be his, but
he quit.
You're telling me he quit, but the Pacers don't have a chance of winning. That's where my issue is.
Well, again, I would assume now he's going to have a sense of urgency he's going to play with. And the whole I'm so cool, I'm so nonchalant, nothing affects me thing that the Thunder are trying to do, it's corny. And they probably got to cut it out now. I know that they get that directive from their coach and from Shai. If they don't cut it out, you're right. That's their path to losing. But they're the better team. They can win in every way the Pacers can win, but better. And I think they'll close it out. I think they'll still win.
I still stand by what I said, too, boys. This will be the most forgettable champion in NBA history. Wow. Next.
Number 2.
Happy Tom Brady Day. Actually, the Patriots have called June 12th Tom Brady Day, 6 June for the number of titles he won for New England, and 12, the jersey number Brady wore in New England. And in honor of Tom Brady Day, the Patriots announced that they will unveil a Tom Brady statue outside Gillette Stadium on August 8th. That's right before their first preseason game of the season. Who are some other NFL players that are playing right now who will have statues erected after they hang up the cleats?
Well, Patrick Mahomes is definitely getting a statue. Outside of that, I think there's a whole lot of prove it, right? I mean, at the let's stick with the quarterback position specifically. Let's stick with the quarterback position specifically when it comes to building statues, because the New England Patriots are building Tom Brady.
Right,
statue.
I heard the story. For those who are watching on the YouTube stream, I did just order myself a Major League burger. Sorry about that.
Did you ask Jonathan Zaslow if he wanted anything to eat?
I'm sorry.
Because Jonathan Zaslow is here too, Theo Dorsey.
Well, let's build a statue for Jonathan Zaslow. How about
he
that?
He should get one because he is the voice of the 305. I mean, if Josh Allen wins the Super Bowl, he's getting a statue.
Okay, but pump the brakes.
If he wins the Super Bowl, are you
kidding me? So what was the question? What was the question? Was the question who's next to get a statue?
What current player in the NFL is going to get a statue? I said Mahomes.
So Mahomes, clearly.
I said Mahomes, and then let's go through the quarterbacks.
And now you're giving a qualifier for Josh Allen to potentially. How about we do it based on what people have done already?
Hear me out. If Josh Allen wins the Super Bowl, that guy's big if. I understand.
I think Saquon Barkley's going to get one already.
Saquon deserves one.
Outside of the Eagles?
Yeah, outside of the league.
Outside, is he been with it? And
they got a Nick Foles statue out there anyway. So I mean,
is that right? No, they don't.
Yeah.
You're trolling me.
I'm not trolling. I'm serious.
Oh my God.
Super Bowl MVP.
They're going to build him a billboard.
Jalen Jalen Hurts is more deserving than Josh Allen of a statue. Patrick Mahomes is more deserving than Josh Allen of a statue.
You just hate. Hang on. Let's take your hatred for Josh
I
Allen.
don't hate Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen.
But it's okay.
You can't give me an if. He hasn't even reached the Super Bowl, and you're like, well, he might. He got one MVP. How about Lamar Jackson?
Why is it? But I think it's a fair argument to say if he wins the Super Bowl, he will get a statue.
But that wasn't the question. CCAT, can you repeat the question for the 5F5, please?
The question was, what are some other NFL players who will have statues erected after they hang up the cleats?
Okay,
it's Mahomes. For me, it's if that's the question, and I can't do the what if.
Well, you know what?
It's Mahomes. That's it.
If
Barkley does not deserve a listen.
If Zach Wilson wins a championship with the Dolphins, he'll get a statue too. That's mine.
Said Zach Wilson.
They've been to the same amount of Super Bowls.
Quinn Ewers is the backup quarterback. They just don't know it yet.
So it's right now. It's Patrick Mahomes,
and that's it. That's it.
Stafford can't get one.
Where? Detroit?
The Bengals should
LA?
The Bengals should give Joe Burrow a statue for being the GM and the quarterback at the same time.
Yeah, and him being the GM put him in bankruptcy, and that defense is going to be terrible. Maybe they shouldn't let players be the GM.
He's doing it because their GM is not being the GM because the owner won't let him.
I would have never paid those receivers those money, but it's neither here nor there.
Joe needs him.
Christian, number 3.
So the answer is Patrick Mahomes.
Go ahead.
And that's it?
That's it. It's Mahomes. I mean,
Stafford has a good
case.
Listen,
if the Eagles build a statue
for the Rams
for
or the Lions? Matt Stafford?
That's why. Then I asked that.
Because it's not like the Buccaneers
are
going to bring one for Tom Brady. I don't think so.
Yeah, no. That's why I asked for the Lions or for the Rams. If anything, it's more for the Lions. But
would the Ravens do one for Flacco?
Well,
He's the current NFL quarterback.
That's a good point, actually.
He's a current NFL quarterback.
I would have said,
Christian, you tell me. I laugh because I think no, but Christian, you tell me it's a Ravens fan.
It's funny because I initially said, hell no. And I said if they would have, it would have happened by now. But then I forgot. Wait a second. He's still in the league. They're not going to put a statue up for a guy who's playing football now.
He's in their division.
Right,
Imagine y'all had a statue of Joe Flacco out there. Wait, Nick Foles.
That's what
the Nick Foles statue.
That's why. And I was going to end this with if the Eagles just build a statue for everybody, then yes, Saquon Barkley is going to get one.
All right, let's move along.
Number 3.
Okay, all right, rolling.
The Panthers are just 2 wins away from a second consecutive Stanley Cup championship. How many Stanley Cups would it take from the Panthers in order to match the impact of a Dolphins Super Bowl for the city of Miami?
God, man.
Double digits?
Don't ask me this.
10, 11, and then you get to 1?
Don't ask me this. Don't ask me this because you don't want to hear my answer.
Does a number not exist?
There you go.
They would have to break the record for consecutive Stanley Cup championships. That's what it would be.
I've been here for 8 months, 10 months. I'm not going to sit here and act like I am, the guy here in South Florida.
Is Zaz like by the mic right now?
Zaslo's right over here.
Zaz, come on out.
Zaslo, can you help us, please? It's the 5-5.
I need Jonathan Zaslo to help.
Yeah,
I
give him my headphones.
I need Theo Dorsey and Zaz to switch.
Because did you hear the question?
I don't think there's a number of Stanley Cups, but I want it. Christian asked the question to our very own Jonathan Zaslo, who's joining Russo and Rizzo.
Does he have the headset on now?
You can listen to him with the. He has the headset on, but let me keep going. The final on pregame's coming up at 6 o'clock. Make sure you listen to Zaz coming up at 6. Give Zaz the question, please.
All right, so how many Stanley Cups would the Panthers have to win in order to match a Dolphins Super Bowl impact for the city of Miami?
Look, I love the Panthers. The Panthers are more important to me than the Dolphins. It'd be like 100. It really would. It'd be like 100. It's some inconceivable number that they would have to win. It's not more important to me, but that's stupid to me. I'd rather take multiple championships than just one, but I don't speak for the entire city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you're dead on, Taz. Football is just a different animal.
Says it's because it's the NFL.
Well, and also the Dolphins are the original team down here.
Right.
There was no other professional team until 1988. It was just Dolphins and Hurricanes. That's it.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, between 88 and 93, we had 3 more professional sports franchises.
Is this a conversation? So let's flip this question around and say any team. You can insert the Hurricanes in there. Is there a team that maybe Miami faithful would take over the Dolphins that are in the area?
No.
It's all Dolphins.
No. And matter of fact, second, maybe the Hurricanes. It probably is the Hurricanes. because this town, there's this town there's a different energy in South Florida when the Hurricanes are on top. The Hurricanes might be number 2.
All right.
Zaz, we appreciate it, brother.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Zaz. I appreciate
listen,
it.
It's like it's to the point. It's to the point where I'm happy Zaz. I couldn't answer, Christian. I can't answer that yet. Theo and Zaz can answer that because they've been here for. Zaz is from here, for Christ's sake. He's the voice of the 305. But
Copper City Rattlesnake.
Theo has been here years. They can
5
speak
years.
better than I can about that. But I know how big the NFL is. I know how much these Dolphin fans care.
But you know about rooting for a professional football team that never wins.
I feel like my situation is so much more uncomparable, and I don't even want to get into that.
Okay.
Number
It's to the
5.
point where I thought that was going to be Zaz's answer.
Number 5.
We'll wrap this up with the U.S. Open going on right now in Pennsylvania. Who do you want to win that tournament that is just eating these golfers alive?
I want Scheffler to, because that's the story right now. Scheffler's the world number 1. I think the more majors he wins, the better it is for golf. And speaking of that tournament that's at Oakmont Country Club, Christian, and the U.S. Open, I think it's about darn time you give us the leaderboard update and who is on top right now.
I want Trevor Lawrence
at the
to win.
U.S. Open.
I didn't know Trevor Lawrence.
That is not Trevor Lawrence. That is a.
Yeah, who is it? Who is it?
That is a no-name.
Yeah, who is it?
That is Tristan Lawrence from South Africa.
Yeah, I want that guy.
That is Tristan Lawrence from South Africa. Christian, take it away.
So this leaderboard update's brought to you by Pain Care Florida. At Pain Care Florida, their specialists use state-of-the-art procedures to relieve pain and get you moving. Pain Care Florida, stop hurting. Start living today. The leaderboard update is also brought to you by the Breakers Palm Beach, Kaiser University, and PGA Golf Club. In the offseason, Trevor Lawrence has picked up golf, and he is in a tie for second with Sam Burns and Sung Jae Im. They're both chasing J.J. Spawn, who's alone at the top at 4 under. That three-way tie for second with Trevor Lawrence, Sam Burns, and Sung Jae Im. They're at 3 under. As well as Rasmus Nergard Peterson at 3 under. It is a three-way tie for 6th with Siwoo Kim. John Rahm, how about the performance he's putting on? He's still on the course right now. John Rahm 2 shots off the lead at 2 under, as well as Cam Young. Jordan Spieth, he's under par, which is not something you take for granted at Oakmont, as well as Patrick Reed and Matthew Pavon. They are tied for 9th at 1 under, 3 shots off the lead. That was your leaderboard update, brought to you by Pain Care Florida.
The U.S. Open, folks, going to be a fun time to watch over the weekend. Can't wait to be locked in. Now, we're taking our final timeout, but, folks, you can't go anywhere first off because we're going to go streaking with our good friends at Hard Rock Bet when we return. And also coming up at 6 o'clock, it's the final hunt with our good friend Jonathan Zazzle, the voice of the 305, taking you all the way 6 to 7:30 with a little Panther pregame. And I'm also going to confine with Zaz on what I should be taking bet-wise, gambling-wise, for the Panthers tonight as we got a big Stanley Cup matchup between Edmonton and Florida. Game 4 coming up. Hopefully, our Panthers can take a 3-1 series lead. Coming right back, Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team.
Welcome on back.
Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Hey, it's Colin Russo. Listen, if you've been in a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall, fell down the stairs, my friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, they're the type to fight for you. Now, I know with Anajar and Levine, they got my back no matter what. They could get yours too, and they don't even charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Let's call it like we see it. They're the best in the business for a reason. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine today because that's the Anajar and Levine difference. All it takes is one phone call. Take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation now. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast, professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 24 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and Men's Lacrosse title. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Our final segment, Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063. We have the final Hunt pregame show coming up with our good buddy, the voice of the 305, Jonathan Zaslow. Make sure you stick around. He's got all your Panther coverage leading up till 7:30. Speaking of the Panthers, I just confined with the great Jonathan Zaslow about my Panther pick because it is time to go streaking with our good friends at Hard Rock Bet.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
We can't lose. We can't lose. We can't lose.
Survive and Advance is the name of the game.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure!
Tail the hot hand.
Continue this improbable run. 22 consecutive wins.
And fade the cooler.
Everything he touched turned to mush. He would go to the racetrack, and the teller would give him his tickets already ripped out.
Let's go streaking.
We're going streaking! Yeah!
Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Folks, let's go streaking, where we try to put together a winning streak, or, in Christian's case, a losing streak. Christian,
hey.
Now, I believe he actually won his bet last. Yeah, he texted me.
Yeah,
last
Chet
night.
Hanks
Christian
got me
won his
a
bet.
bunch of points.
Yeah, Chet Holmgren.
Okay.
You bet the over on the points on Chet, Christian?
We had that in the first half. It was easy money.
Yeah. And he
Too
did
easy.
text me about it. I actually did know about that. Christian, I apologize.
Good job, CK.
What are you, 20 of 23? You've lost 20 of 23 or 19 of 23 now?
Yeah.
What's the number?
I have
Close?
lost 18 of 22.
There you go. And folks, what Let's Go Streaking is, we
the
tried
cat.
to be, you fade the guy who can't hit a bet, and you ride the hot hand. I was the hot hand until my last two bets. I'm
So they rode you.
L2, but I am going with the Florida Panthers -1.5 after talking with Zaz. On the goal line, it's +140. Theo, what are you taking?
How about Sergei Bobrovsky? Over 26.5 saves. It's -155 on Hard Rock Bet, but he's hit it all three games by a wide margin.
Christian.
Yeah, I'm looking at Aussie Rules football, and I'm looking at the Hawthorne Hawks -1.5. You get that at a clean -110. It's at 5:40 a.m. tomorrow, so I'll be able to report back with our show tomorrow.
Folks, that is Let's Go Streaking with our good friends at Hard Rock Bet. Best of luck to all of us as we placed our bets. We ran out of time
I thought
here.
we were doing something different for Let's Go Streaking.
Yeah.
On Russo and Rizzo.
One more button.
I see.
I see
That one
the
almost went
entire
over my head.
innuendo of the.
Yeah.
You didn't
watch
get
it.
it?
If you're watching on the YouTube stream, Theo and I are showing our.
Gotta show a little
chains.
chest, man. Let's go streaking.
Showing a little chest, showing a little chain.
Yeah.
Folks, appreciate everyone who listened. The Final One pregame show with Jonathan Zaslow coming up next. Sometimes friends have to go away, but a part of him stays with you forever. Remember that in this life. We'll catch up with you tomorrow. Christian Cat and I, 2 to 6, by the way, tomorrow. But Zaslow, now, stay tuned.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things.